I'm in one of those really incredible moments where, they happen periodically in your life, but then you have these large wildernesses where they aren't happening, where you don't feel like you have the right skills for the moment. But I'm in one of those moments where I actually have the skills for the moment. And I announced on social media just a few days ago that we were going to release all of the resources we've used for doing homeschool the last 12 years. And I got a lot of responses asking me to include things that are not included on the website. So I decided to step back for a second and to re-envision this. And what we have been doing is making polished videos so that way you can get a beautiful view into our life, but also so we have, like a video yearbook of what we've been doing. But I'm going to step back from that project. That will be a website that's going live in a week. And what I'm going to do is create a masterclass for you, a masterclass for how you approach being the principal and the counselor and the coach and the 5 different subject teachers of a CASA school. Okay, so this is what I'm going to call Masterclass CASA School. And I think that Masterclass should pay me to do this, and they're beautiful photojournalists and fancy hair and makeup folks. They could come and fix me up and make me look great. Because, we use almost every single day a masterclass, whether it's for writing like Stephen King, or, learning how to do incredible photography, or Gordon Ramsay preparing chef food, or Simone Biles and gymnastics. We use the master classes daily. They are incredible. I'll talk about them all over the place if you're following us. But what they don't have is how to homeschool, and how to homeschool without traumatizing your children and without ruining your relationships, and how to homeschool so it's an incredible adventure and you actually love it instead of just something you have to do. I do not have a crystal ball, and I don't know what COVID-19 is going to do, but I can tell you that in my home, we're going to be doing CASA school all summer long, basically because we need the rhythm. We need the rhythm to keep going. We usually spend 3 hours a day at a pool. It looks like that's not going to be happening. We typically would be taking adventures to see all of the grandparents and the cousins. I don't know that that's going to happen. We don't want to infect one another if that's a thing. A lot of our typical plans are getting canceled. And so we're going to keep our rhythm of school because, number one, we love it. We love doing it together. So if you are going to transition to homeschool in the fall because something's going on with your school system, or because you actually enjoy having your kids at home, you need to take some steps. It's not something you can do just overnight in 1 week. I mean, you can, you've seen what that's like. But if you actually have 3 months to prepare, it's a whole different ball of wax or ball of yarn or ball of something. So I'm going to give you those skills in this masterclass. And I've divided it into 12 different sections. The number 1 section is how in the world do I school while keeping a house clean? And I'm not giving a great example of that right now in my crazy clutter going on. But it's really important to have organized space so that way the information can go in. And me personally, I hate a messy house. So the number 1 episode for Masterclass for CASA School engineers is how to keep a house clean when all the demons are home. And I have a good answer for you. It's probably the best thing that I'll tell you out of everything. So that's number 1. Number 2 is how do I prepare food? How do I plan and prepare food when I'm doing everything for my children all day long academically? You will never imagine how much empathy and love that you feel towards the cafeteria staff, and until you're having to make those incredible meals while homeschooling. I've got an answer for that too. Number 3 is, how in the universe do I balance this with a job? And the 12 years that we've homeschooled, only 2 of those have I not had a full-time job. Some of it's been working inside the home, most of it's been working outside of the home. I'll tell you how to do that. I'll tell you how we've created crazy schedules and flows of days, so that works. Part 4 is, we've got special needs at my home. Where does that fit in? I was so grateful to see that question. We have children that are non-native English speakers in our home. We also have a child that has brain damage, and we also have a child that had severe encephalitis when he was 2 and now struggles with ADD, ADHD. So grateful for that question. I'll share what we've done. It definitely ups the ante when you're dealing with special needs, but it's kind of liberating to get out from underneath that IEP too. So part 5 is, when do I prepare the material that I'm teaching, and when do I grade it? I'm so grateful for that question because I hadn't mentioned it. Part 6 is managing multiple age levels. I like to call this Anne of Green Gablesing. If you know the reference, Anne of Green Gables is a story that takes place in Canada, Prince Edward Island, and it's just this beautiful community on an island where all the age levels meet in one little tiny schoolhouse. That's basically what you're doing. How do you do it? And just a spoiler alert, it's actually easier to homeschool multiple kids than to only homeschool one. But I'll tell you about that when we get to part 6. Part 7 is I stink at fill in the blank. How do I teach that? Whether it's writing or math or time management. We'll talk about that. Part 8 is different learning styles. My kids have different learning styles. How do you cope with that in one classroom? Part 9 is how do I reteach my kids to be excited about their curriculum? They're going to get to design it. How do I teach that enthusiasm? That was my most exciting thing that was asked because I have lots of answers for that one. Part 10 is how to be prepared for state testing standards, but to also create an environment that the kids thrive in and love. So you're not just teaching to the test. Yeah, that's part 10. Part 11 is, but homeschoolers are weird and I don't want my family to be weird. Me either. Part 12 is how to still have sex. Also worded. The longest version of this is I throw so much ingenuity and throw much excavation of resources into my life. How in the world do I still have energy for the other adults? Also worded, I love my children, but I don't want to become one of those dried up moms that has nothing going on in her life but her kids. That was also a great question. That's going to be part 12. So hop on into my homeschooling masterclass. It costs not a penny. This is all open source. This is a gift to you, my fellow parents. It's something that I could actually give. I'm not a nurse, I'm not a doctor, but I could give you this. Thank you.